Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. While I respect the opinions of my colleagues, Congresswoman Luria and Congressman Golden, I have to oppose this $37 billion increase to the Pentagon's requested budget. It's wild that at the same time Republicans are complaining about runaway inflation, that we would increase federal spending in a reckless way on things DOD itself has said it doesn't need. And I've heard a lot of my colleagues talk about Ukraine. I think the real lesson of Ukraine is that what we need is cheaper, more survivable, easily distributed weapons, not large and expensive legacy platforms such as tanks and capital ships. I associate myself with the remarks of the chairman that quantity does not equal quality. Too many of my colleagues view the defense budget as a federal jobs program. I would love to work on a federal jobs program with all of you, but the defense budget is not a federal jobs program. We need a federal jobs program that invests directly in jobs, that does it in a way that actually helps our constituents instead of just increases the profits of defense contractors. We need to have an honest conversation about the Pentagon budget. We need to ask ourselves what's achievable and deliverable and make funding decisions based on the threats of the future and not the past. We need to make decisions based on threats, not what is good for our districts, and we need to actually prioritize. And I want to be clear. There are some good things that would be funded in this edition, and there are some areas in the defense budget where we need to increase funding, especially as it relates to military personnel as families. Frankly, it's pretty unconscionable that even without this increase, we're talking about a budget of over $800 billion, and yet I will still have constituents in the military who have unacceptable housing conditions. I will still have military families, thousands of whom are on a wait list to get childcare. I will still have over 39,000 members of military families in San Diego County alone who have to visit the food bank every single month. So yes, we need to increase funding to expand resources for mental health and housing and childcare. We need to address the impact of inflation on our service members. But these are priorities that we can and we should address within the existing top-line number that we have. And if we are really serious about competing with China, we need a better resourced and funded diplomatic corps. We need greater investments in our development practitioners so we have resources to compete with China's investments. We need to invest in our education system, in innovation, in our domestic infrastructure, and pandemic preparedness. That is what will determine if we are competitive with China, not whether we have one more LCS. That, as Chairwoman Spear said, doesn't even work, and as the Pentagon themselves said, they don't need. For the last 20 years, we've been told we need more. But I think it's time to recognize that more is not a policy. And yes, we have a lot of challenges, but there are simply not military solutions to every problem. I am voting no on increasing the budget by $37 billion, and I urge my colleagues to do the same. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. We are